someone had got hold of the paper,
Yes.
almost the entire paper of biology on, or let's say about 30 to 40% of the chemistry paper. Is this possible as someone who has been associated with NEET coaching for many years now? Is this possible without the connivance of someone from within the system?
Right. There are another set of kids who are not going to make it this year, who started preparing in all their earnestness for next year. Now, what do you do for next 2.5 months? Should you prepare keeping 2.5 months in mind, or should you prepare keeping 12 months in mind? Huge
Kapil,
problem.
welcome. I must say it's not easy becoming a doctor in India thanks to an operating software that seems to be hit by a virus very often. We can call it a system error 420, and that's because the NEET exam has been cancelled once again. 2024, we came very close to cancellation. There was a problem, a controversy even 2 years earlier, but obviously lessons not learned. Joining me now is my good friend Kapil Gupta of NEET Prep, who's going to do some plain talking today because we need to address the problem, say it as it is. So, Kapil, would you say that the NTA has failed once again, broken the trust of over 22 lakh students, their parents, their guardians, and everyone who dreams of becoming a doctor?
Sudhir, it's very tough time. I have been hearing the news conference as well as the fact that this time NTA DG was all over the news channels.
Yep.
What he said was, we were required to provide a perfect exam. We could not. We have cancelled it. That is our responsibility. Yep. Fair enough. But the reality for these kids is this exam happens once a year, right? It is a culmination. That day is a culmination of a lot of effort, a lot of hardship. If I can use the word hardship. Your daughter is prepared for the exam. My kid went through it, going through it right now. It is very tough, not only for the student, for the parent as well. For a lot of parents, they spend a fortune making their kid prepare. And when this thing happens, imagine those people who were guaranteed to get a seat. Now they have to prepare all over again. Some of them have actually gone to Supreme Court now, right? There are another set of kids who are not going to make it this year, who started preparing in all their earnestness for next year. Now, what do you do for next 2.5 months? Should you prepare keeping 2.5 months in mind, or should you prepare keeping 12 months in mind? Huge problem, right? Yep. Both the preparations require a completely different method and approach, right? Yep. And if you prepare for now and you don't get it, you are completely jeopardizing your chances for next year also, because 3 months out of remaining 11 get wasted, right? So these are extremely tough times. We need to take this matter very seriously. I've been telling, and I believe, you remember before TN session, there used to be all these news about election rigging, booth capturing, a lot of violence during election. And this guy cleaned it up because some authority was vested in that position, Election Commission. I think there has to be a constitutional body in India from age 16 to 27, at least for a vast part of India. People are preparing for some exam or the other. They'll initially prepare in class 12, then they will prepare for postgraduate, then they will prepare for some exams which will get you jobs.
Yeah.
It justifies a huge infrastructure with a lot of experts, development officers and law enforcement people and cybersecurity experts and IS officers, even revenue people who can trace all this money trail, right? It seems like huge amount of money is at stake. And it seems that our system is fighting very big gorillas whom you can't beat.
Right. You said a lot of things, Kapil, in this first answer. Let's break it down. Of course, you said that you need a TN session kind of figure who will fix this kind of a problem, but obviously it needs more than just an individual, but yes, definitely the right kind of leadership. Now, the NTA, of course, has been trying to divert the issue. At least that's the way I look at it, by saying that, oh, we will hold the exam again in, let's say, the next 6 weeks or something. We will not charge you any more examination fee, as though that's really what matters. But the point that you said is very important, that students will have to spend the next couple of months preparing for this exam. And if they don't clear it, then again their time for the next year's exam will be much shortened. Fair point. But let's look at what happened this time. There was a guest paper which got leaked, which was distributed over Telegram, over WhatsApp groups of 400 questions. Out of this, correct me if I'm wrong, about 140 questions were the same which came in the paper, and these were biology and chemistry questions. Physics was not leaked, right?
Physics was not lead. The numbers I have heard is 410 questions in guest paper, between 120 to 125 exactly matched from chemistry and
Okay.
biology. Chemistry and biology between them have 135 questions in the paper.
Yes. Yes. So that's a kind of leak. So obviously someone had got hold of the paper,
Yes.
almost the entire paper of biology on, or let's say about 30 to 40% of the chemistry paper. Is this possible, as someone who has been associated with NEET coaching for many years now, is this possible without the connivance of someone from within the system?
So, Sudhir, tell me this thing. I don't think I'm in a position to squarely say that unequivocally. But the number in 2024, there were a lot of numbers that came out because the matter went to the court, public hearings were happening. NTA had said that around 1.2 lakh people are involved in conducting the exam, right? So it would include 5,000 centers. So you can assume around 20,000 to 25,000 invigilators. Then all kind of people would be there, right? Who are supporting. There is a complete hierarchy, which is at state level, city level, reporting into the head office in Noida. So do you consider all these 120,000 people part of NTA? If all of these people are part of NTA, just imagine the kind of logistic nightmare you're talking about. How much any of this person would get paid compared to how much you would get paid to get compromised, right? So that's the challenge we are fighting. Some courier, some other person who had the PDF and had to send it somewhere. It has to go to some bank from which it is issued. There are, and it is not as if paper is coming there 10 days before. Paper comes much before. It seems this paper was already available at the beginning of April. So I would not want to be NTA DG. This is sitting on a hornet's nest. This is a disaster waiting to happen every year.
Okay. So you said, I mean, obviously these many people are involved in the entire conduct of the examination, which this year took place on the 3rd of May. The Radhakrishnan committee was set up after the 2024 controversy to look at the lacunae and give suggestions. They gave their report in the month of October 2024. No changes were made in 2025. The expectation was that in 2026 NEET, there would be some of these changes which would be implemented. Were you disappointed that things have remained pretty much the same?
Oh, Sudhir, yesterday I was wondering if I opened the company in the right space. Genuinely, I mean, you almost feel helpless. I did not start this company 10 years back, thinking that I would be helpless with my choice, right? How can this happen? And you can almost see it happening in front of you. Kids were forwarding things to me, and I was like, "Don't make noise," because there are some mischief makers as well, right? So you don't give much credence, and when this happens like this, right? You feel terrible. Nothing has happened. There is no implementation report that has come out. They had said, do the exam online, do it in 2 steps. The easiest thing that you can do is reduce this 22.79 lakh people to something like 3 lakh people. There are 120,000 seats approximately. So why do you need to take exam of so many people? Just reduce it down to 3-4 lakh so that you can manage better. Or even delegate it at state level.
So basically have a JEE kind of a system where you have 2 mains examination, and then you kind of sift the brighter ones, the better, who get the better score, and then they sit for the JEE advanced. So pretty much a NEET mains and a NEET advanced kind of a recommendation was made by the Radhakrishnan committee. What prevents the NTA from doing it that way?
I don't think it's an NTA's choice. I think this has to come from NMC. So, and this has to come from Education Ministry and Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. I don't think this is the choice of NTA. So definitely NTA cannot be blamed for that. NTA definitely has the capability to conduct online tests. it might require many more centers, or it might not be able to mobilize that many centers, which means it might require many more shifts than what happens in JEE Mains right now. But
Yeah.
it is a decision between Education Ministry and probably even more on Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, under which NMC operates, National Medical Commission.
Yeah. So the other criticism always has been that the NEET continues to be a pen and paper examination, unlike the JEE. Again, is that change also, does it meet with resistance? What is the reason why it does not move out of the pen and paper mode?
It's not transparent. It is my 11th year running NEET
Hmm.
Prep. Till now, I don't know why it doesn't happen. When JEE has
Hmm.
been all along happening online, and
Yeah.
I've not heard this kind of. There were some news in between regarding JEE also, but generally speaking, JEE has not had this kind of noise. In NEET,
Hmm.
I've heard it every year.
Hmm.
Every it is just horrible.
Okay. You were mentioning to me when we spoke in the morning about 1997, the year you took, you appeared for JE. Tell us what
Yeah.
happened and what was your experience of having to appear for the examination a second time. Maybe the students who are listening to this interview now can actually, learn something from that experience.
So I can tell you, Sudhir, that was the worst period, those 2 months. And then we
Hmm.
had to suffer for 1 year because there were no weekends at IIT. There were
Hmm.
non-stop classes. They did not let us
Hmm.
go home.
This was
So
because 1997, the JE paper was leaked, right?
JEE paper was leaked. It was conducted by IIT Bombay, and paper
Hmm.
leaked. And within 2 days, they announced. I distinctly remember it was on Saturday and Sunday. I gave the exam. Monday, my dad woke me up. I was sleeping peacefully, like a lot of these kids would have been. And then he woke
Hmm.
me up. I was like, let me sleep. Exam is over. Why are you after me
Hmm.
now?
Hmm.
And he's like,
Hmm.
no, exam is not over. It is going to happen again after 2 months. Right.
Hmm.
So I distinctly remember to buck myself up again to get out of that
Hmm.
inertia. I don't think I never got out of it. I
Hmm.
prepared whatever I could. It will take a lot of time for these kids to figure out from what sources to study from. Should I study theory more? Should I watch more lectures? Should I do more questions? How many tests I should write? Which
Hmm.
resources to refer to?
Hmm.
It's all back to square one, and it is
Hmm.
going to be terribly difficult. It was very tough for me. I am personally, what I'm doing is I'm making Telegram groups of kids. I will
Hmm.
personally mentor them, do 2 Zoom sessions every week. They would not be
Hmm.
about physics, chemistry, and biology. I'll just remind them, say a prayer, go for a walk every day for an hour, talk to your parents, talk to your friends,
Hmm.
don't talk to negative people, and don't worry about things which are not in your control. In the morning, a kid messaged me, sir, I have heard there might be a lockdown because there is oil shortage in the country. These are the kind of things kids are thinking right now, and it has
Hmm.
nothing to do with what he can really control and what problems he need to fix.
Yes. Absolutely. So the other thing is about the centers. Now the news is full of where the kingpin of this entire leakage racket could have been. Fingers are being pointed at coaching institutes, whether there was some kind of a mafia at work which managed to get this question paper out of the system. Uh, what is your sense like? I mean, is it as simplistic as the case of the rich people are able to buy the paper, examination paper for their kids so that they get admission to the government colleges? Just to kind of give an idea, and correct me if I'm getting the statistics wrong, uh, uh, what is really the cost difference between a private medical college and a government medical college? You have about 63,000 seats in the government medical college, and of course, the total is about 1.15 lakhs, so another 40 odd in the private space. So, why is that government medical college seat? I mean, everyone is running after that.
So one thing is, it is a matter of prestige. If you get into a government college, that means you went
Yeah.
inside on merit.
Yeah.
The second thing is, in AIMS Delhi, 5-year fees is 5,000 rupees, and I think out of that you get some refund. There is some
Hmm.
security deposit in that 5-year 5,000 rupees. But that is not the case with all the colleges. Typically,
Hmm.
college fees would vary between 10,000 rupees to 1.5 lakh rupees a year for
Okay.
government colleges. For private
Okay.
colleges, it would vary between 6 lakh rupees a year to 30 lakh rupees a year.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
So the difference is ridiculously high, which
Yes.
means for someone who cannot afford,
Hmm.
his dream of doctor only is through scoring well, getting into a government medical college.
Right.
Uh, so a lot of agony which happens is because these kids whose parents don't have money, they feel snuffed out, right? So there is something to the fact that rich people are able to buy their way out through this criminal enterprise which is festering. And there is consumer of that leaked paper. Someone is ready to pay some amount of money. My sense in 2024, people were saying the going rate was 30 lakh. If you multiply that 30 lakh with 10,000 people, right? 10,000 backdoor entries, that is 3,000 crores, right?
Yeah.
So this is the kind of money we are talking about. 3,000 crores is big money. I would be very interested to know what are the kind of numbers involved in, for example, drug trafficking or gold smuggling, right? And how far, I'm just talking about one exam, right? And to start building up UPSCs and JEs and bank POs and SSCs and all of these, everyone from 16 to 25 is writing some exam or the other, which is a game changer for them. So this is very, very big. It requires I expect the Prime Minister to come and address this matter.
Right, absolutely.
And,
I mean, you need a pariksha pe charcha of a different kind as far as this particular crisis is concerned, because 22 to 23 lakh students definitely by no stretch of imagination is a small number. I mean, they are the future doctors of the country, and many of them are actually droppers who are appearing for the examination a second year or maybe a third year also.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of emotion also involved with this entire examination process.
Oh, no, 23, it's not 23 lakh aspirant, it is 23 lakh households. So we are talking about 1.1 crore affected people. Very, very sad, very, very anxious, all of them. And I mean, something needs to happen. This has to stop. I mean, the faith in the system is at an all-time low. It is a day of darkness. What happened yesterday?
Yeah. So it's not enough to pinpoint a particular state or a particular town or a particular center which from where the leak may have originated, because once it comes on a Telegram or WhatsApp, it's just like cancer, it spreads all over the place.
Yeah. And I'll tell you the worst part, Sudhir. In the SOG, the Special Operational Group head who was there, he was saying some people charged as low as 20,000 rupees. So what that means is there was massive distribution. If you talk about a number like 30 lakh, how many people would be able to afford it, right? So that would naturally weed out a lot of people. Access might be limited. As soon as you say 20,000, it is possible that one kid got it for 50,000. Now he's trying to recover that money and he's distributing it to 5 more people and they would further recover it. And you have made, you use the word virus, you have made a virus out there.
Yeah, actually, I mean, some of these students, actually profit from actually buying it and then selling it to multiple people for a lower cost. So I think the 20,000, 30,000, etc. was the cost if the paper was given just a day before or a few hours before the examination. So the closer you get to the examination, I think the costs kind of drop as well. So while the NTA DG says that, it's not a full-fledged leak because the entire paper in totality has not been leaked. But obviously, if so many questions from that paper have come in the guest paper, obviously it means that the paper was pretty much out in the open to be leaked.
Absolutely. So at a
just
level,
a technicality.
It's a technicality. He's also acknowledging it, and to give benefit of the doubt to this current individual who's NTA DG, he came in only in April, and I don't know if he wanted to be in this position or he was just posted there. If I was an IS officer, I would not want to go close to becoming NTA DG. It is like the worst thing. It is just not manageable in the current state. It needs thought through at a structural level, and the whole examination system needs to be thought through at a structural level. This malaise is very, very deep and it is pervasive. It is not about pointing someone caught in Nasik, someone caught in Seeker, something happened in some medical student. That is just triviality. That is just observation of the naked eye. It is just some very, very big kingpins are involved in all of this. This is big money.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, in conclusion, I would only say that NTA needs to be headed by probably a very tech-savvy cyber security expert, IPS officer who understands both how the law works, how the
I think
technology works, and how to make it absolutely safe so that the entire that know-how can percolate down the system and to definitely reduce it from the present 1 lakh plus people who are involved with the entire examination system. That number needs to go down. They need to relook at the pen and paper mode. How long are we going to continue with this? Because every year we hear about how the pen and paper mode is an absolutely leaky kind of a
no,
system.
you do pen and paper mode round one, and round two happens on computer based system because
Yeah,
you don't have that many computer terminals. That's fine. And
yeah,
if leakage happens, uh,
mm,
what you do is you let states conduct level one. So if leakage
mm,
happens, every state has a different paper, and you have
mm,
some normalization happening. Let's say
yeah,
leakage happened in Rajasthan. You just conduct
mm,
Rajasthan again rather than making all of these 23 lakh people go through this
yeah,
pain. Please,
mm,
then you have some confidence that I might not suffer even if some
mm,
leakage happens somewhere. Right now, the system is such one
mm,
paper, one day,
mm.
pen paper OMR format. You have to cancel everything as soon as some leakage comes out because through WhatsApp and Telegram, it is in everyone's
Mm.
head.
Right. So, Kapil, in conclusion, when are you expecting the date to be approximately? I mean, ideally speaking, for them to fix this entire issue because they now need to ensure that it doesn't happen again. So, how long do you think the students will have to wait for the next date of the exam?
So they are saying 7 to 10 days. We will get back to
Hmm,
you, right?
hmm,
Uh,
hmm,
one big decision in front of them would be, can they conduct pen paper OMR format paper again and not
hmm,
the risk of leaking it again? If it leaks
hmm,
again, we would
hmm.
become joke of the world,
Yeah.
right? So now if they shift to online, kids would
Hmm,
not have trained themselves on an online exam. So
absolutely.
so it's a bad situation for NTA
Hmm,
right now and
hmm,
whoever the stakeholders are. My
hmm,
sense is managing the logistics of this many people is
hmm,
at least 2 to 2.5 months. What also
hmm,
happens is, let's say you have to give admit card to students. You cannot
hmm.
assume as soon as I uploaded the admit card, everyone would be able to download it in a day and print it.
Yeah,
Information slowly percolates to the right person. You have to give at
yeah,
least 6 to 10 days before the exam for the admit card
yeah,
to get printed and kids to show up. So just
yeah.
these basic times that you have to give,
Hmm,
and making the paper, sending it to different centers, mobilizing the centers, giving them new security protocols, and plugging all the gaps that are there. Also, the fact that CBI would probably call up NTA people as well, right?
yeah.
There might be some changes that might happen. Some other person might take up responsibility. So, I
Hmm,
personally think not possible before 2.5 months from now. I don't think it can happen in June. And there might be aspect around, there are places in India which receive very
yeah,
heavy rain in June and July. That is why even elections typically get finished up in May,
yeah,
even though it's very, very hot.
yeah,
So
yeah.
those things are there.
So we are talking of end of July, the second half of July, possibly. But again, as you said, that we get into the monsoon period. So,
I'll tell you, Sudhir, if they can do one thing, it would be very cool. If they can
hmm,
say, guys, this happened this year, we are
hmm,
going to also postpone 2027 a bit. Don't worry about it, right? That would also
yeah.
be a very cool gesture, but I don't know if people are listening to that kind of
So
nuances
that
now.
it doesn't happen on the first Sunday of the May of 2027, but
First Sunday of
possibly,
June, give them
yeah,
1 more month. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, right. Okay. Thank you very much, Kapil, for your perspective and views as always. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sudhir.